Welcome to another Telltale Books video. I'm Greg, and I'm kind of kicking off a new series, but I'm going all the way to the end of this author's work, really. The author is Thomas M. Disch, and the story I want to talk about is one that was just published in the latest issue, number 224 of New Worlds magazine. This is a 60th anniversary of the editorship of Michael Moorcock, 60 years since the first issue he edited. And he did edit this issue, and it's an amazing issue. I've read it, love it. It's incredible. I wish all science fiction magazines were this good all the way through. It's really a very good magazine, in my opinion. Um, this video is a little weird because, like I say, first of all, I'm going down to the very most recent thing published by Thomas M. Disch, and I have not yet covered anything else by Disch. So on my bibliography list of his works, this is number 184. Okay. Now, Thomas M. Disch was born in Des Moines, Iowa on February 2nd, 1940. He died July 4th, 2008. So he's been gone for a while now. Wrote a lot of great books. Ones you may have heard of are The Genocides, Mankind Under Leash, Echo Around His Bones, Camp Concentration, and one that was really, really, really big. When I first started reading science fiction, I'd never read it, but when you started reading if you started reading the science fiction magazines in 1978, 1979, in 1979, this is all you heard about was Thomas Disch's On Wings of Song. There were ads in every issue, there were reviews everywhere, people were talking about it. It was a much discussed book. Thomas M. Disch was a very literate writer, way more so than most science fiction writers. So he fit in very well with New Worlds magazine and the whole mission of what Moorcock and Ellison were doing with trying to reinvent science fiction into speculative fiction and kick it up to the level of literature. Um, the specific story that I'm talking about here is called Peanut and Buster, A Tale of Forbidden Love. What is in here only qualifies as a short story, but it's in the introduction here to this magazine. They mention that this story was originally supposed to be a novel. So what we have are the first two, what? You have chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and chapter 4 and chapter 5. And that's all that exists of this novel. And I got to tell you, reading it, I couldn't figure out why it was being called A Tale of Forbidden Love. I couldn't figure out what had anything to do with forbidden love. But I suppose that is something that we've developed in the novel. So it's kind of unfortunate that this is it's so unfinished. I mean, I've read other unfinished pieces where it was enough. There was enough there that you could enjoy. You got the point. This one, I don't feel there's enough there. There's too little of it. And so I didn't really get the point of it. It was just really bizarre. It was about there were talking elephants and they were walking around in normal human society. Um, I was confused as to just why there were talking elephants in the story and what relevance they had to anything because there didn't seem to be any relevance and there really didn't seem to be any point to what was going on here yet. But like I say, it's only the first 5 chapters of an unfinished book. If we would have had the rest of the book, the other 150 pages or whatever, it probably all would have made sense, but we don't. And so we got this, and reading it, it's just too disjointed. Um, there's no telling what it was supposed to be from what I read here. I could not figure out where Disch was going with this. So I can't recommend this most recent story by Thomas and Disch, except, I mean, to get it, you got to get the whole issue of New Worlds. Go to Zeissing's website here in the United States. They have it for sale. You can get your copy, like I got mine from them. I don't know if they're still selling signed copies. I got mine signed by Michael Moorcock and John Davy, I believe. Thomas M. Disch, of course, is dead. He can't sign it. But, you know, in reading the story, you can read the Thomas M. Disch, and then you can move on and read the Zolene story and the Sinclair story and the Moorcock story and the other articles in here, all of which are really cool and really worth reading. And you can puzzle over what Thomas M. Disch was trying to do. And hopefully we can get a little of that. And we can't complete the unfinished novel, but hopefully we can get a little bit of idea of what Thomas M. Disch was thinking when he sat down to write this novel as we go through the entire Thomas M. Disch bibliography, which starts in 1962 with his first story, The Double Timer, published in Fantastic magazine. That's the companion to Amazing, edited by Celie Goldsmith. So he was one of her discoveries. And I promise I will get to that as soon as I get a hold of a copy of the story. I do not have it, but I'll get a hold of a copy. I'll read it. I'll do a video on it, and we'll get this Thomas M. Disch deep dive, reading everything I can get my hands on by Thomas M. Disch in order of publication. We'll get this one rolling just like all the rest are. And I gotta hope I live long enough to at least complete one of these authors. It's not looking good right now. But I'll try. I'll at least get a good way through it, and maybe we'll learn something by going through it. I hope you'll join me for this entire journey through the works of Thomas M. Disch. And while you're at it, jump in on some of the others. The back videos that you haven't seen yet are in the playlists. Go back and watch them and get caught up on where I am, and then read with me these stories. And I always say what the next story is going to be. I'm saying this is his most recent. I'm going back to his very first is called The Double Timer. It's in Fantastic magazine from 1962. Find a copy of that magazine, or maybe the stories in one of his collections or something, and read it with me, and come on back and view that video once I put it up. I don't really tell you when I'm going to put that video up, because our schedule, I do need to leave a lot of room for changes and new decisions. So it's really hard to schedule too far in advance. But I am currently scheduled through the end of 2024. Everything is, but I keep adding things in. So now I'm like, doing videos every day of the week, and there's going to be some days where there's 2 videos. It's getting crazy, but I'm reading so much and I'm loving it. I'm having a blast with all this stuff. Anyway, come on back for all that. If you've read Peanut and Buster and you have some thoughts on it, like I say, I'm just confused. I don't know what the hell. So educate me and put your comments in there about Peanut and Buster or Thomas M. Disch. I really, really, really want to hear them on this story. And otherwise, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Come on back for more Thomas M. Disch and everybody else I'm doing here on Telltale Books.